Hello and welcome back. Hi, Monica. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And thank you for having me again.
I can't wait to hear everything. Today, we are talking about the sacred body, the book itself. It's such an inspiration. You know that my channel is all about feminine leadership, wealth building, and everything that there is. And I love to listen to you ladies when it comes to the energy, the healing part. And it's not a secret. You are 60. And I believe it's such a wisdom for us ladies to listen to you and hear your take on femininity, on healing the feminine body as is. What inspired the book itself? Was there a journey where you were like, okay, this needs to come out, or what happened there?
Well, what inspired me in writing this book was, I think, inspiration itself. But it's true that for more than 30 years, I had this inspiration to do something with the women, for women. And I started very early to guide the circles about the connection with nature and nature's cycles, like the moon cycle, the seasons. But I felt it was okay to write the book only after menopause, after my 50s, after a few years after my 50s, because I felt that I needed to feel whole, complete, and I couldn't speak to every woman if I wasn't already complete in this cycle and circle.
It's so funny, isn't it? We always wait for something to feel whole. When I get married, when I have children, when the children leave, when I have menopause, where I live this and that through. Why have you thought that this needs to be shared? And what was the wisdom at the end of that journey where you were like, okay, ladies, listen?
Well, the wisdom at the end of the journey is never there because until I'm alive, the journey is still in progress. But what I felt clearly is that, okay, I can speak about the whole cycle, even if I'm not there yet. But it didn't feel really, it was more a feeling. And it made sense in my case as a guide for women. Of course, I could already guide women before that stage of life that in some tradition is connected to winter, but a winter that opens the door to a never ending spring. This is menopause. So it's true that somehow in the background we could feel like never ready, but this time at least it was not about procrastinating. It was really about embodying that energy, the energy of menopause. That was really a revelation.
Wow. You mentioned as spring, and in my mind, it's definitely not spring or how I would feel about it. Let's walk us through that.
Oh,
That's
menopause.
fascinating.
Yes, exactly. Well, the connection between the menstrual cycle and the seasons and the elements of nature and the moon cycle, depending on different tradition, of course, but in the tradition I mostly follow, that also reflects into the Western astrology, the phase, the stage that follows the bleeding moment is the crescent moon, that is also connected to spring, the fire energy. We feel, and it's like youth and in childhood. We feel so full of energy in that stage. And then there is the ovulation stage, that is also our life as fertile beings. It's full moon, it's the summer, it's the stage of life in which we flourish, we thrive, we want to give, we want to share. Then around the 40s, and for some women is before, it's after 35. For other women is later, around 42, 43, the energy changes. We enter into the autumn fall phase, that is premenstrual moment phase, or perimenopause. And the energy changes. It's so beautiful. It's enchanting, like the colors in the fall. But we start also feeling like, okay, well, this is my moment. I want to connect more with myself and use this transformative power, like the colors in the fall. It's a magical stage, but I understand there is a lot of roller coasters, emotionally speaking, also in the perimenopause and the premenstrual every month phase. And then menopause connected to winter, connected also to menstruation, connected to the night, the moment in which we really can dive into our inner power, healing power. And this is, I know it's hard to understand in a culture that sees menopause like a loss. And on some level, it can be felt like a loss because something changes in this, it's so deep. But if we look at this as, let's say, from the perspective of nature, this is the opening on a never-ending spring. So in that moment, our energy is not anymore invested in procreation on a biological level, and so we can feel it on a creative and rejuvenating level. And then we discover that we can access all the seasons, any moment. We are free.
I love that. I love that. And it's such a shame that our culture is just based around the fact that, oh my God, menopause needs to be terrible. And after that, you are not even a woman. People don't even see you and acknowledge you, right? So it's such a negative tendency to it. But it's so refreshing. You talking about this. I love that. There is hope, right? There is no darkness where we bury ourselves after, I don't know,
Actually, yeah, no, there is a lot of hope after menopause, of course. I'm a little bit, I'm a wild fairy. Also, as a healer, I'm a person that wants to experiment. So I challenge myself sometimes, like, okay, well, I decide to not to take medication, not to go there. I prefer to follow nature. It's my path. I'm not inviting anybody else to do so because it's too much. Always say, do whatever you feel right for you and follow what you believe is the best for you. This is what I share first. I would never suggest other women to do like me because I know I'm really wild. But actually, of course, some supplements. Let's say if I can't get my food, whatever I need, I can maybe take some omega-3 or whatever. It's some magnesium. For me, it was good. But beside that, I did my best to get in touch with myself through my body, especially deeply through my body. And then I found out this opportunity to be even more alive. And I went through so many challenges related to my health for other reasons, not related to menopause. And I was amazed in seeing how, anyway, I was able to recover and my energy felt improved after every challenge. So we don't need to feel all the stages related to our femininity as a medical issue. Of course, if there are medical issues, we have to take care of that. But what is natural belongs to nature. And we can find ways to reconnect to our nature from within.
what's your advice if someone's just starting menopause and feeling all the negativity and all the pressure and all everything that, we do? What's your
Well,
advice?
it's always useful to find help in women who already went through that stage. We can, of course, I'm wild, and then I have a very, very strong background in science and other things. So find your resources, external resources, to help yourself get in touch with your inner resources, because it's like a treasure chest, really. And so I would really recommend to reconnect with oneself, reconnect through the body. Self massage is a treasure and we underestimate it. Like, okay, get in touch. It gives the brain a picture of the body. It helps with balance. Do whatever you can to regulate your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system. There are so many resources also free about finding ways to find this balance. I have also a free resources, free courses on my website for this, emotionally and physically. Move, dance, even if you feel with no energy, you don't want to go to the gym. I understand. Put some music on and dance in your room, sing loud, and do whatever makes you feel better. Be careful with sugar, because that can be not exactly the best thing. Sugar addiction is really tricky, so be careful there and be ready and take care of your pelvic floor health. I have also exercise for that in the free courses, the Moving Mind free course. There is something there because we need to stay in touch with ourselves, especially in that moment. And
Right.
of course, yes, my yes,
Of
my
course, exactly. Exactly.
free resources though.
I was thinking while reading, what's the story behind the book? I mean, like when you wrote this, have you had your own aha moments? Have you had those, the picture is now full. I needed this process of writing to realize certain things?
Well, there were many aha moments bringing me to write this book. I don't- I did it after recovering from a viral infection that devastated me for months. I was bedridden, like, okay, well, and now what? But I was very patient. I'd never lose faith and trust in life and whatever. And then there was a show, a one-woman show connected to the moon phases and four elements that was in there since forever. And when I was feeling so not good, I start thinking, well, if I won't be able to dance again, I will go with that show. And then the show arrived, like I channeled the show, the book, all together, everything. And everything made sense at the end. And I had a dream, but the dream was many years before I realized that the dream finally had a meaning. And it was all about sharing with other women how much our body is the mirror of the nature. And this is what guides me, the joy for sharing what was helpful for me.
Mm. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And it's just the fact that there will be women who need the guidance and who will read the book and say it's like, oh my God, yes, that's where I'm at. Oh my God, this will help me so much, right? I treasure that so much that you shared even your story in the book and all the healing methodologies. Was there a part which was really hard to create or share, or something that where you would say it's like, oh, I needed a deep breath?
Oh, really? Well, in writing, when I wrote The Sacred Body, I felt like, oh, it's like I wake up in the morning and I say, oh, okay, now it's time to write the book. And then I can't do anything else for maybe 1 month. I'm there and I'm writing the book. Then the part that is more like challenging at the end is, well, editing, or putting things, reading, rereading, and creating the resources. It can take a while because I like in this book, there are links connected to meditations, like guided meditation. I recorded, connected to the 4 moments and the 4 elements, and the 4 moon phases and seasons. They are connected, and then other resources I created for the book. That takes a bit more time, but I don't mind. I really like it because I know that we learn through different channels. So I understand that who wants to read a book, maybe they don't like to listen to meditation, but for me it's important to give all the tools. And this is what takes more time, let's say.
Right. I know that from my own book writing. It's like writing a book was pretty easy and putting it together. But after that, the resources and rereading it. How do you feel about rereading your book?
Oh, I feel like, oh, really? I wrote this? Wow, it's so many insights. So there is so much there. Like it belongs to this happens to me with every book I write. Probably because when I write, I'm in a really state of grace and I am in a flow. So when I reread the book or when I rework on the book, for example, this is the second edition because I felt like, oh well, I needed to after a while, I need to clarify some points, or maybe just because my English improved a bit, I need to correct some mistakes and some errors there. Um, and it's always like a new experience. This is also what many readers told me. I can read and reread your books every time I find something new. Yeah, but I know I have a background also in neuroscience, so I know our brain likes learning in layers. So probably I embodied this, but it's also new for me when I read my books. I go, wow, I put it everything in there, really.
I love it. I love that. If you could go back to the younger Monica after writing this book, what would you tell her? Would you do something differently? Would you tell her, I don't know, not to worry about certain things?
Probably I will tell her not to worry too much because I know I survived really. So, but what probably helped me through the worst, the most, the biggest challenges, yeah, was that I was curious to see how I could go through and if I could make it. And I never panicked. So yeah, probably I would insist on this. Like, because of course this attitude improved with aging. I'm a fan of aging. Would never go back to be 60. Honestly.
I thought that it's so important in these days when everyone is fighting aging. I think graceful aging and the knowledge and the wisdom that comes with that, I think that's priceless and that's beautiful and that must be celebrated.
Yeah, this is me. Of course, I would never for myself being wild like this. I don't challenge my body to make myself younger because I wanted to see really how much I can just stick with nature. Every woman has the right to do whatever they feel right for them to age gracefully. But anyway, I like to remind that we have so many resources in our body and mind, so we can do miracles just with nature, our nature.
Love that. What's the message or the transformation that you want the reader to experience when they are reading?
Well, not by chance, I titled my show about this, the treasure chest, that is a work show. It's a halfway between a workshop and the show, and I can also go through the workshop without the show. I put also in my online course, The Sacred Body. Remember that every challenge, every perceived challenge is a treasure or hides a treasure. So this is my invitation. And especially when we speak about hormones and stages of life and hormonal cycles, if our body can't feel at ease, it's because there is an imbalance. We can work on that. We can work on traumas. We need to work on that because otherwise we don't have the magic wand. We would like to, but the magic is transforming the challenges into resources and precious gems, jewels. We can do that. We need to work inside, and maybe we need help. I worked with a wonderful psychologist. Of course, I have a lot of training. I never stopped learning from other people. And this is what we need to do sometimes. We need help. We need mentors. We need someone who can guide us through the path. So I encourage that sharing, but always, always be curious about the treasures hidden into the challenges.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's such a lighter way to look at life, right? Not everything doom and gloom, of course. It's like these days when you hear the news, when you hear everything around you, social media, right? Negativity can really suck you into a spiral, downward spiral. I'm sure other people had the same take on the book as I had, but from the feedback you got from the readers, especially that they released it for the second time as well. Which part of the book do people resonated with the most?
Well, it's difficult to say because many wrote to me, "Oh, wow, I can relate so much with your life story," even if, of course, the events are different, but some steps. Other women were totally fascinated and resonated so much with the explanation of the connection between our inner moon cycle, the menstrual cycle, with the moon phases, elements of nature, and seasons. And what the haha moment for everybody was about what really menopause can be the door on a this never ending spring and all seasons all together. Yes, because in mythology we have goddesses who can go through all the stages and phases. We need to connect to this power.
How did you choose the title? I know that book titles can be tricky.
I don't know if it came title before the book or the book before the title in this case. But it's true that the sacredness of our body for me is it's something big. I mean, I always think about the sacredness of our bodies, human body, because human body in general, but a woman's body with all these nuances and hormones that can be nightmares for many, especially for men, also women. But I met many spiritual masters and teachers and healers, men, women, medicine, men, women. My the master with whom I was more in touch used to say women have spiritual discipline in the body, and he was referring to our cycle. It's more than it such a training, right? So yes, let's say
Love it.
it's it's all there. So it's all about the sacredness of our body. And when we can reconnect to this feeling of being sacred, I think the transformation can happen.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. You mentioned already that you have this process. You sit down every time when you write the book. Do you have before something, the ideas are coming, and then, okay, now let's channel, and then you sit down? What's your process?
Yeah, well, it can take years. Yes, I start always. I write. I like to write, so I can open a file or find a notebook, both sometimes, because I like also to write with my hand, and start just when I oh well, oh, this can be right for, and then I write it in that notebook dedicated to that idea or in that file. And when I have enough, then I start looking at it, like, okay, well, now I read it and I put together maybe what I wrote on the notebook and on the file, and I just let it work. It somehow it works, and then maybe months later or 1 year later, I wake up with this like now, and then I can't help but writing that book, and it comes like everything, every part finds the right place, and that's the process.
I love that. And it's such a feminine way to write books, right? It's exactly what you are talking about, right? In all of your work. Is not pushing harder, not creating this pressure that now you need to work it and that's the deadline. And it's like it's coming, you float about it. I love that. And once it's coming, you sit down and write it, and that's it.
Yes, and of course, my life has a structure. I have a structure, but I leave a lot of free spaces in that structure because I want to allow this creativity, inspiration flow when the moment is there.
Fabulous. I think so many women are, pushing themselves harder and harder, especially in business and in life and in corporate and everywhere, right? It's so refreshing to hear that basically when we give in to our nature, that's when things starts to work.
Yes, because otherwise we would just try to adapt to a linear model. Our inner model is cyclical, it's a circle. A male cycle is different. They have a different settings, hormonal settings. So men don't go through all these nuances, shades of hormones during a month and during their life. It's different. So we need to understand that our inner model is something else, is cycle. So we need to respect this. And then we can use the specific gifts from every stage or every phase to live more without peaks and valleys, but in a more like waves. Let's say waves, harmonic waves. We can.
We talked a lot before, and I know that you are really, really practical and you give people exercises and you create those resources. Once someone reads The Sacred Body, what would be your aim for that person, that they get used to certain things? It's not just, okay, I finish the book and put it aside.
Well, my advice is use the resources I connected to the book. Practice. I know that practice needs time, but the resources are made in a way. Practice a few minutes a day. I needed to learn it the hard way through health challenges, that I need to plan to schedule me time every day in advance. let's say it's just half an hour. I will wake up half an hour before everything to go through my exercises, my practices, the practice I find useful for myself. And so you choose what resonates with you. But the suggestions and the resources I put in the book, I tested those resources through years of teaching and practice as a coach and a teacher. So I would say, well, you can try, give it a try, and and practice, because we need to practice our own well-being.
Yes, yes. And even if you do something small, right, one day at a time, it's totally enough. Yeah. How does this book tie into your larger mission and message and what you wish people know and believe?
I'm really committed helping people make their life lighter and more like brighter, to find the treasures in the challenges. This is my, I think this is my mission, to help people never lose hope. And that is not positive thinking. It's not spiritual bypassing, because I'm very aware of the traps. No, it's about it's an attitude, like, okay, what I can learn from this, what I can use, what I can find here in this challenge to make my life better. Because otherwise we can fall into victimhood, and then we can fall in this spiral that is really like sucking energy and more and more. And I'm very aware of trauma, grieving process. So this is why I always encourage to work on ourselves with professionals, to go through whatever we need to feel more in touch with ourselves, with no traps anymore, like, or but really, well, my mission is to help people find some lightness. I'm also a gravity specialist. I work on posture, how we can inhabit our body without feeling oppressed by any kind of challenge, emotional, physical, and also be more aligned in our body. So for me, it's this, and this is a special for women, let's say.
If the sacred body could, as a book, could whisper, what would it whisper to the people who need to read it?
Well, maybe it would be, keep being curious about discovering more and more treasures in your femininity, and don't fall into prejudice. A woman is whole, like nature. Nature is not fluffy and cute. Nature can be fluffy and cute, but nature is not always supportive and nurturing. Sometimes nature is really devastating, is destructive. So this is not an invitation to be destructive. This is an invitation to be aware that wholeness is not about just being patient and understanding and receptive. And the fire and water and the air and earth are elements, some of them feminine, some of them called masculine, but nature includes all of them. So a woman can be fire, a woman can be air, a woman can be sharp, a woman can be passionate. Why not? It's not just man masculine and women feminine. No. We are whole.
I love that. What are the certain symptoms that women are experiencing who you would say it's like, yeah, just read the book and you have the answers?
Well, for sure, mood swings, and also physically speaking, ups and downs, moments of great energy and moments in which we can feel completely like flat. Read the book and you will find out why and what maybe your body is asking you, because this is the point, what our body asks us and we can't give it, because this is the problem. Our society is not respectful of our nature, because we, in the last few decades and in the last century, we run so much. Technology makes our life easier. For our body, for our nervous system. Most of the wonderful discoveries are perceived as a threat, like communication, all this easiness in traveling and communication. For our body, it's not. For our brain, feels like, oh, it's so easy now. Yes, but for our body, this is not perceived as advantage, is perceived like a threat. So our nervous system can like freak out, and so our hormones. So read the book, and you will find some answers.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. What's next for Monica after you've wrote a couple of books already on certain topics? What's your next project, book, expansion? What's up?
I have no idea. I'm waiting for the inspiration. Well, now I feel like, okay, this is the good moment to keep spreading the message, and in different ways, because I'm available. I put everything into the books, into an online courses, more than one on Udemy. So in this era of running, every woman can follow the course with their inner pace through them. Yeah. But I'm also available to coach other women, to mentor them. And I'm available also as a fairy, because I'm the dancing fairy with no age. So I want to share this also through magical things, more like entertainment than that. Yeah, well, lighter, let's say. I like to work on the whole, let's say, rainbow and colors, from the most passionate and to the most subtle. So I love to teach the same things in many different ways. Well, let's say very seriously, but always with this sparkle of humor, and also on a completely entertainmental. I don't even know if there is such a word, because I'm Italian and so I mix everything. So this is my this is my plan.
Love it, love it, love it. Where can people find you? What's the best way to connect with you?
People can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I forget to have an account, so mostly it's Facebook then Instagram. I'm Monica the Dancing Fairy on Instagram, and Monica Canducci, Monica La Canducci, the Dancing Fairy. And then, of course, I have a website. So the website is the best way to stay in touch with me. For sure, there is a blog, and I share a lot of free meditations on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I also share a lot of free appointments, like multis, a few minutes twice in a month. I share longer meditations. So I like to connect and to share.
Amazing. Thank you very much for being here. It's a whole package, ladies. So if you feel like this is something that you are interested in and you might need it, if you're still listening, I'm pretty sure that you feel aligned with everything that we talked about. Check out the book, check out Monica's website. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye.